welcome back to the Empowerment Podcast.
My name is Christina.
And I'm Xander, and we are both Avatar Masters.
And we got to know on Avatar courses, and we became like buddies, and we worked a lot with each other. And one day we started this podcast. So if you're here the first time, be very welcome, and we are very interested also in sharing viewpoints with you about life and consciousness and
what to
how
make of
empowerment
it,
works.
how empowerment works, how you can go for your goals, and if we want to go for it, how do you keep empowered and feel good and like really that you know that you can reach what you want.
Exactly. And today we defined a special topic. We want to talk with you about beliefs, as this is a thing what generally a concept what everyone can understand. Like it has to do something with what you believe and what you experience. And we want to look into that a little bit deeper, also in the connection regarding empowerment.
Yeah, because there's basically two paradigms we noticed in the world. Like on one hand, you have first need to see in order to believe. And the other paradigm is more in the sense of I believe and then I see.
Yeah. And my first reaction to it is that only weird people first believe in it and then they see it. It feels like a little bit naive, yeah. And the other paradigm feels a little bit like more grounded and also I don't know if you think
rooted in science, you know.
Also a little German. I don't know if you also would label it as Dutch, but I would say it's a little German.
It's like a little German. It's a little German, but also, but we Dutchies, we can also we like our food. We like just not too far fetched. Just we have a Dutch word for nuchter, down to
earth. Yeah. I don't know the English word, but I exactly know what you mean. Something you trust these people in a way like you can rely on that. I mean, they know what they say.
Yeah, and there's also it's also wise because you don't necessarily want to believe just anything that you hear. So we wanted to talk a little bit about the connection there between what we experience in life, and there's a lot going on in the world, and there's a lot of worry that may be going on. I know I sometimes worry about the state of the world and where we're going, and can I change anything? But those are not necessarily experiences that I enjoy to have.
Exactly.
And so where do they come from? And do they come from our beliefs?
And that's actually the thing. I mean, of course, we can believe that the things were there first and then we believe them, but you're never going to change anything when you think in that direction. So actually, the theory is also to turn it sometimes around, like, what did I believe that I experienced that? Like the way, and it does not mean that that I'm as a person experiencing or creating the whole world, the whole planet and the next planet and the whole Milky Way. But let's start in our own life. Like look in our own life. What have we to do with the things we're experiencing right now? And that can be already very confrontive.
Yeah, because many of us have also tried to change our beliefs. Like some people, they like to write reminders for themselves on little post-its and they have it on their desk. And I mean, I've tried that as well, but it gives limited results because then I looked at my post-it and I'm like, oh yeah, that's what I need to really remind it. Let's say I want to be more happy. And then I have it on a little post-it note and then I say to myself, oh yeah, I'm happy to be me. I get a reminder. And it works for a little moment. A little moment, my attention goes there and I think, oh yeah, but then it fades away again. And I guess what we more want is that more lasting experience. For example, in this case of happiness.
Yeah, but I think it's still a good step, good first step to at least write down what we want instead of just, making the world responsible for how we feel. I don't know. I have an example. I'm struggling with the world situation, like probably not the only one, and I we all wish ourselves so much peace on this planet, and sometimes we even don't have a solution in our head, but we so much wish for it. Also, to have the peace inside of us. I mean, I can worry so much about the situation, and I think if this out there is changing, I feel different. But the real truth is for me that I have to change to create my own peace first. It will never be it I mean, it will never be that the world can change how we feel, maybe for a little moment, but we really need to create it in ourselves first and work on that. And with
Mm.
that, it will be easier
Yeah, I
or
have also.
lasting.
Yeah, and have you found a how would you go about that if you wanted that, if you wanted to change yourself?
What do you mean with how do you go about that? I
Maybe.
think I don't understand this English. Yeah.
Yeah.
The question different.
Um, I think we need to cut this. So so yeah, I wanted to ask you if you like you realize, okay, I need to change. I cannot change the world. I need to change.
Yeah.
And then what? So a step would be write a post-it note. That would be a step in the right direction.
I mean, actually, I expected to end a war in my head. It was like when they end, I feel more peaceful. But I
Mm.
couldn't have peace with myself. I couldn't have peace with my neighbors. I was agitated on my partner. I was angry about myself. I mean,
Mm.
these were all things I could change. Yeah,
Right.
but what I wanted that on the other side of the world, everyone changes instead of
Yeah.
me starting work on it. I mean, why not creating my life a little better? What will help also? Because I mean, yeah, that's an interesting thing. We first see it's always easier to look into other people, to look other in other situations, to look at there and see what they could change. But
Mm.
first to look here, what we could change, seems like a little bit more uncomfortable. But I think this is where we need to go. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Do you
like
experience that?
yeah, like getting really honest. What am I experiencing in the moment?
Yeah.
Actually, my relationship, in my work, in my how I look at myself, and that can be pretty, confrontational. Like I sometimes I have this whole story in my mind. I'm learning to become a sporting instructor, and I have this whole story of, oh, I know how to talk in front of groups. I know I love sports, so one and one together, that's easy too, so I should be able to do that. That was a story that was running in my mind, but actually what I was experiencing, and I was pushing away a little bit, is I'm actually afraid that I might fail.
Hmm.
I wonder if I can do this.
Hmm.
But what I and actually my belief was more there, I don't know if I can.
Hmm.
And once I felt that, I could look at that belief and change that belief using the avatar tools. But while I was still invested in that story in my head of, no, I should be able to do this, I'm not looking at myself and what I change. But my experience was still a lot of worry, a lot of anxiety that I was trying to hold down. But it was very tiring, actually.
Yeah, the thing is looking at your own beliefs. That's the only way to get in the empowerment, back in the empowerment, because otherwise that's what creates the struggles with the world, because we want others to do something what we don't want to do.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, and that is maybe. I wonder if we just have a misunderstanding there of that it's that we're maybe bad or wrong or I don't know. That's what comes up for me. That it's that I'm wrong, but maybe that's because we got so identified with these beliefs that we think of these beliefs as ourselves and not so much as just beliefs we hold,
Yeah.
and that with the right tools we can change if we want to change them.
Yeah. And I think this is an area we can talk about too the next time, about the right and wrong game in beliefs.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because so that can be very. very persistent
Oh, yes.
in my life.
I have
So
1,000 life examples. Okay, enough for today. Thank you for listening. And
thank
thank
you
you,
for joining
Susanna,
us.
for sharing your viewpoint.
Thank you,
Talk to you
Kristen.
soon.
Bye.
Bye.